Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Ryan Iron Hammer Stevens.
Stevens is actually becoming a fixture here at the Chosen Few Fighting Championships. This is his 4th amateur fight. He is 3-0. All 3 wins have happened right here in this cage in Monona Terrace. A debut victory that only took 29 seconds back in Chosen Few Fighting Championships number 21. Then a win with a round 2 knockout of Marcus Ruffelt. And then now, or in his 3rd fight, he won by a rear naked choke in the 2nd round.
Wow, so he's on good momentum.
He is 3-0, and every time he has fought a guy who is undefeated. So he's undefeated. His opponent tonight is undefeated, so he hasn't shied away from anyone either. So Ryan Stevens has been impressive so far. So, you know, it's kind of funny. A lot of people will know our fights by seeing them on TV. And maybe some of these fights haven't made TV quite yet. But Ryan Stevens started at the bottom of the card 3 events ago. He's working his way up. He is almost there into that top part of the card, and he's done that because he's been able to finish.
Oh, yeah, and a big win here. A big win here could potentially put him in line to get a future title fight here, right here where he started his career. So,
absolutely. You remember working your way up the card like that?
I do, indeed.
Everybody's got to do it.
And his opponent, making his way to the red corner, Michael Klapperich.
Klapperich fighting out of nearby Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and he is 2-0 and has won here in this cage as well. So, good tune to come into for Klapperich. This is a good fight. I was looking at the top of the card, and the next 5 fights are all real familiar names and guys we know, and, you know, hell, women we know as well that are going to be fighting.
That's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, Mosiah Clark we're going to see. Maxine Netter versus Juanita Shingles. Really good fight. Then we get to see the birthday boy, JT Schulte. We're going to take another look at Garrett Carlson as well in the co-main event. And then, like we said before, Alex Gilpin at the top of the card, returning to the Chosen Few Fighting Championship. But this fight right here, a good one as we look at the tail of the tape between these two, Stevens and Klapperich. And it's Ryan Stevens, the Iron Hammer, with a bit of a height advantage. Not too much in this one, as they both weighed in at 185 pounds.
This is the 7th bout of the evening. 3-minute amateur MMA rounds brought to you by Wanakee Lawn and Landscape. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Madison, Wisconsin, representing the Blast, Ryan Iron Hammer Stevens. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also weighing at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, representing Genesis Combat Sports, Michael Klapperich. Your referee, Chris Clavetter.
For what should be an intriguing fight between these two. I've already had
undefeated guys.
Yeah, a couple of guys point out that this has the possibility of being the fight of the night, believe it or not, in the amateur ranks.
Mike right away. Coming out, putting Stevens on the cage.
Good
Stevens
action,
looking to get that takedown, get that clinch. Got double underhooks.
Stevens again at 3-0 has not gotten in to the 3rd round of any fight yet in his amateur career. Is used to quick finishes, including one we told you that was under 30 seconds right here in this cage. Not going to score a quick win like that tonight. The thing is, as you move up the card, so are your opponents moving up the card too. It gets a little bit harder.
Oh yeah, you got to be a little more calculated about your strikes. Harder game with chess.
Stevens and Klapperich up against the side of the cage. Stevens looking for a takedown, couldn't get it. Klapperich missed on a big right hand. And the action continues on the other side of the cage from us.
I need you to turn him now. Turn him. Hands up, hands up.
Both guys back into the center of the cage. Tell me, we've got another big crowd here tonight. I think they've been waiting to explode here.
Oh, yeah.
Vocally. Well, what does that do when you're fighting in front of a big crowd like this? How does that amp you up?
It makes you, you're nervous. You can either be a little tense or you can shine in the bright lights. Both these guys, you can see they're getting focused. They're taking these shots. They're not even thinking about the crowd. Somebody's mouthpiece just dropped off, it looks like.
From Klapperich. I'm not sure whose mouthpiece came out, and time is quickly called. It is going to go to Stevens. His mouthpiece came out.
I need you to tag some legs now.
Gets it back in.
Hands up.
That's always got to be a good feeling to put that mouthpiece back in that's on the
yeah.
mat, that's got blood on it, sweat on it. Popping it back into your mouth.
Klapperich's keeping a real good pressure right now. Stevens needs to utilize that low kick, maybe jab to the body a little bit.
Klapperich driving forward.
Utilize
Stevens.
those long strikes.
Yeah, Stevens trying to keep him away with some kicks, and now a stoppage here. What did they stop that for?
He dropped his mouthpiece again.
Again, okay. Can't be doing that.
I need some more kicks now. Return fire.
Another big left there by Klapperich. Didn't connect, tries the right. That one caught the chin of Stevens, but not enough to really rock Stevens back. Good action here in round number one as guys are trading blows.
Klapperich just being a bruiser. It's actually 17 seconds. That was a little early.
That's what I thought too. Not sure if they stopped the clock while that stoppage had happened, and so maybe a little bit shorter round than what we thought. So round number one in the books. Tough one to score. Both guys landing. We'll be back to see this one unfold on TVW. Good matchup here, and the first round had a lot of action in it as we take a look at some of what was going on. The replay is brought to you by Floors for Less, as both Stevens and Klapperich getting in good shots in round number one. That's a tough one to score. How did you see it, Alton?
I think Mike definitely won that round. Kept on his back foot. He was landing some really good shots, knocked his mouthpiece out twice. Just was the aggressor. He was mainly the aggressor, landing the most strikes.
That cage generalship definitely does matter as we go into the second round, and it's Klapperich on the offensive once again, throwing some kicks out there. Stevens trying to fight back, but it's Klapperich still coming forward.
Looks like he was a little off balance on that strike.
Left that would have rocked Stevens, just missed by Klapperich. This time he connects and puts Stevens down, and he's in trouble.
Looking for the
Continued
finish.
right hands now by Klapperich, looking to finish Stevens off, and he's doing a good job
the back
at
of the
least
head.
Of holding on. And those shots, might have been in the back of the head. Again, rabbit punches, they call them, and you don't want that as Stevens now holding on to the back of his head and instead catches one in the face. Klapperich continues the offensive. Stevens trying to hold on in what has been a dramatic start to round number two.
Fast start. Stevens looks like he got his wits about him, but still in trouble.
So important to use your legs on defense, isn't it? And Stevens actually did a decent job of it right there.
But he's still in trouble.
He is in trouble, indeed. This round has been all Klapperich so far. Thought for a second Klapperich had a chance to finish him off. Didn't do that, and Stevens right now just trying to compose himself and maybe caught Stevens or Klapperich a little bit. No, he's able to get out of it as Stevens was thinking about a choke.
Plenty of time to work. Stevens needs to work his way back up.
His corner trying to urge him to get those feet in there, get back up, doing what he can to keep Klapperich at bay. The Klapperich offensive continues as he lands a left, and now some blood coming out of the ear of Stevens. I believe it's the ear where he's bleeding from. Don't see a cut on his face, but then again, sometimes it can be hard to tell. We're only about 10, 15 feet from where the action's unfolding right now, but it's still kind of hard to tell. You get a bunch of elbows and knees in there, and it's like, okay, where's that blood coming from? It does indeed, yeah. Look like there's a cut from the ear. Stevens was just pawing at it right now. A lot of blood coming out of that right ear
20 seconds.
of Ryan Stevens, who's just trying to hold on here in the second round.
What a fight.
Gave up his back for a second. Now he's up on his feet. Tried for the armbar. That didn't
10
work.
seconds.
And you see the big goose egg that's formed on the right cheek of Stevens as well. Klapperich continues to deal out damage. In a strong round for Mike Klapperich. Oh, indeed. Wow, it's a ref now checking on Stevens there. He's got a big knot on his face. We'll see if he can continue when we return on Chosen Few Fighting Championships, number 24 and TVW. Referee taking a look, or was earlier, at Ryan Stevens. Man, the damage that he incurred thanks to Mike Klapperich, who was relentless. Yeah, here in round number 2. What did you see out of Klapperich?
Oh, he just, I mean, his confidence just kept building. He just kept landing bombs and just smelled blood and kept looking for the kill. And I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out harder this round.
A lot of the blood cleaned off of Stevens. Was coming out of that right ear where that cut was. He was pawing at it a few times as well. Does have also a big knot that kind of formed up on his cheekbone on the right side of his face. So third and final round. Good action here, but it's been Klapperich who dominated round 2.
Let's see how Ryan bounces back from this.
This is a hard one. There goes that mouthpiece once again as a left caught Stevens and knocked it out once again. He's got to keep that mouthpiece in his mouth. And that's what the ref's telling him.
Yeah, he might stop the fight just from that.
Yeah, you cannot keep doing that. Some guys will use it as a tactic just to get a couple seconds back in a fight, and that's why you got to keep it in your mouth.
Circle 2, yep. Look for it. Don't wait on him.
Klapperich just stalking Stevens here in the ring. Stevens now trying for the takedown.
Great reversal.
Yeah,
strong hips.
Klapperich now hitting that ear once again. That's a good job by Klapperich. Using that left hand to go right into that ear that was cut and reopen some damage to Stevens. So one thing the judges notice, they notice if you're bleeding.
Oh, yeah. And he has plenty of time to work here and mount. He could potentially get this finish. He just needs to stay busy. And Ryan with a great explosion to get back to his feet. Now he needs to land some strikes. You can tell he's touching his ear. That's bothering him.
It is bothering him. It has been now for a good round and a half as Klapperich has really exacted some damage. Got to tell you, I mean, Ryan Stevens, win or lose, is not going to be feeling good tomorrow morning.
Son of a gun.
You could definitely tell that he has been in a fight, and for him it's going to feel like a war because Klapperich has really exerted some damage into the face and especially the side of the head and ear of Ryan Stevens.
Klapperich is on his way to a huge victory here.
I tell you, man, he just keeps coming forward. He has since the first round.
Oh, yeah.
He has been unstoppable, and Stevens has not been able to answer and keep
hard
him off.
Strikes.
Absolutely.
Some real hard strikes.
Some guys just hit harder, man. They just do.
Yeah, and you can tell he's a bruiser.
Mm-hmm. And Klapperich has just kept the onslaught going all fight long, but it really started to turn early in the second round for him. We've seen Stevens have a lot of success so far here in his young career, but
he's fighting from behind right now.
Yeah, he's kind of matched up against a guy in Mike Klapperich who really has had the better of him all night long, including here in this third round. Not as one-sided as the second round, but damage nonetheless. And, man, I mean, give it up for Stevens at least. He's been tough. This has been a tough night for him. For Klapperich, he's going to come up here in a few seconds and feeling victorious, as well he should. It's been one heck of a fight.
Woo! What a
Mike
fight.
Klapperich. Both guys showing some respect in the cage. We will get the final word right after this on TVW.
What a fight.
Ryan Stevens had trouble holding his mouthpiece in. It came out 3 times in the fight. And actually, right here is the left that really sent it flying here in the third round.
And that left hand over the top was just money. And I think that's what bust his eardrum.
Boy, and if that happened, man, that's really not going to feel too good for Stevens. I mean, they're showing appreciation to each other here, and why not? I mean, you step into the cage against somebody, and there should be respect on both sides. They're laughing it up right now, but Stevens not going to feel too good tomorrow morning for sure, as here comes Ken Bostetter to deliver what we think is bad news to Ryan Stevens.
Especially after that swelling kicks in tomorrow. Yeah, he's definitely going to be feeling it.
Applause for these two fighters. We go to the judges' scorecards for decision. 30-26, 30-25, 30-26. All for your winner, fighting out of the red corner, Michael Klapperich.
Every one of the judges had a 10-8 round. One judge, he didn't say who it was, had 2 10-8 rounds in a one-sided onslaught win for Mike Klapperich, who improves to 3-0 and sends Ryan Stevens to his first defeat, dropping to 3-1 in his amateur career. All right, we're down to the final 5 fights of the night, and we're going to get to see the exciting Mosiah Clark. That's coming up next from Chosen Few Fighting Championships number 24 on TVW.